Oh, you're being ridiculous. He's a professional football player.
No, look, I'm not talking about killing the guy. I'm just talking about going up there with a group of dudes and intimidate him. Maybe break his arm.
You can't break Tom Brady's arm.
Oh, yes, I can. No more Super Bowls for that pretty boy.
Listen.
Robert better not get in my face, because I'll drop that mother.
What did you say? What the f*** did you just say?
To the near side.
What are you, a fucking lunatic? You and your mom are hillbillies. This is a house of learned doctors.
I respect him as a coach, but I'll be damned if I allow someone to,
But I'm gonna kick you repeatedly in the balls.
You got long balls, man. Long balls. You got long-ass balls.
You can't pick on...
You know exactly what you've done, sir.
That's bullshit. I'll say it again. It's bullshit.
Nah, I'm just pissed off.
Let me tell you something with absolute honesty and concern for your well-being. Tom Brady would kick your ass.
You know, I was rude and inappropriate, and, yeah, I just want to say I apologize.
I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to yet another episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. I think we're at, what, 55? Is that what we're doing right now? Is this 55?
56. 56.
Son of a bitch. Well, then we're going to start this over again. I'm sorry. I was going to say I had a need for speed in sports, but that's not going to work if it's 56. I really don't know what to say, but we'll just restart it.
And whenever you're ready.
All right. Hello, listeners, and welcome to yet another episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. 1, 2, 3. Guess what? It's episode 56, and you're here with all three of us. Yeah, of course, I am John B. Eazy Durnell with the Duke as well as the Moose. Fellas, how are we doing this lovely day?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing great. I'm doing real good, man. Things are amazing. Moose, how are things down for you in the East Coast?
They're good, man. It's starting to get real nice out. It's about 84 degrees. It's a little hot for me, but at least it's nice, you know. The humidity's killing me, but other than that, man, no complaints here on the East Coast.
All right, well, you protect your lily white skin. Now, folks, the NBA is in full force right now. The finals are occurring currently. The Toronto Raptors are up 2-1, and the whole country of Canada is excited. They're also excited to hear that somebody might not be allowed to attend any more games for the finals. Hell, he might not be able to attend any games for the whole next season for the Warriors. That is a part shareholder of the team who decided to push, of all people, Kyle Lowry, which actually was probably the best NBA player for him to push because any of them else would have probably ended the situation right there, and this billionaire may never walk again. But Lowry was not excited about the situation. He went and he told someone, much like a tattletale would do. Now, I know he did what was right because if he hit somebody, the NBA would have been all over him.
That was in front of everybody, too. It wasn't even like – it was blatant. The dude, like, pushed him, then cowered like a little bitch, and then decided to, like, scream F words at him and call him, like, a fucking bitch or whatever he called. Like, dude, that was such bullshit. I mean, it's one thing because he's a minority owner, but even if you're a fan, like, what have I been saying? They're too close. They are too close.
No, I'm not saying that they're not too close, but I mean, this isn't this man's first basketball game. You know that things happen if you're that close to the court. You know, men are going to fly at you. Balls are going to fly at you. Maybe men attached to balls might fly at you. You never know what exactly is going to happen being that close to the game. I mean, you've seen people get their beers knocked over, their nachos, their popcorn. All kinds of stuff happens when you're sitting that close to the action. So for you to think that you can then get up and be a part of the action by shoving a grown-ass man because you think you can punk him out because you know if he attacks you, it's on, that's messed up. And I'm glad that they're planning on banning him. I mean, he should be able to no longer be an owner. I mean, that should be what happens next.
Yeah, and they have banned him for one season, and they've also fined him $500,000, which is chump change, that dude.
Dude, I gotta say though, is that like the way he did it was amazing. Like he acted like nobody. He just acted like nobody was gonna see. Like there's not a million eyes on you, television cameras everywhere on the court, and you just kind of like he didn't even come near you, and you cowardly hit this man because you knew he wasn't going to react. He could react. If he reacted, dude, that's why I was a big fan of Rumble in the Palace, dude. Run on a test, going up there, beating that man's ass after he got a beer thrown at him.
Now,
dude.
again, he has changed his name to Meta World Peace.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry,
you
Meta World
should
Peace.
refer to him
What does that
as-
even mean?
That means I didn't punch some dude in an arena. That's what.
They're actually good friends now, man. They talk to each other and hung out. So Ron and Tess did get peace, man. So, but it's just fandom, dude. I mean, this is fandom. We love fandom. It's great. We're blinded by it. But this is over the line. And he's a minority owner. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know who the hell you think you are that you could just do that to another grown-ass man. But that was just wrong of him. And like Moose said, it just came down the pike that he is barred from team activities and games. And he should be fined $1 million. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, he's a billionaire, so you should hit him with at least a cool $1 million. Like 500,000, that's like asking me if I can give him a 20. Like, it's going to hurt. Like, I don't like it. But, I mean, I can give up a 20. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, like, the equivalent is not quite the same, you know? Like, that's just, it doesn't work as far as I'm concerned, especially because, you know, like, the level of which he did this was like, he's like, look, I can get away with whatever I want to because this is my team, this you in my house. And that's not how this works. You know, there's a game being played and there should not be any fan interference or ownership interference once the game has begun, you know? And again, apparently, I guess we're getting rid of the word owner. Is that what's going on, Duke?
Oh, yes. This is a hot topic issue for me. I'm very against banning words and banning books because changing history is wrong. If you want to go have yourself a good old-fashioned book burning, I'll call you a Nazi because that's just wrong. Because what do you cross the line at?
Now, I want to actually get some clarification, dude, because I'm a big fan of Fanta orange drink, and I've now found out recently this is Nazi beverage. Do I have to give up Fanta?
Look, you can't, Fanta is not Nazi, dude, is it?
No, it actually was. It actually
it was.
Wait, this is news to me, man.
They're not gonna release the drink being like, "Yo, this is Nazi made." They're not gonna. That's not a good business model, dude. So.
Well, we'll talk about that later because that's going there. But the point is,
like, I love my orange drink.
I like orange drink too. Yes. The term owner came up during the barber shop, the shop with LeBron James. Draymond Green was there. You know, Jon Stewart was the token white man there because you gotta keep it balanced, right, Jonathan?
I mean, I didn't say that, but I'm sure a producer did.
Yes, that's Hollywood for you. So Jon Stewart raised the idea of, quote, owners being problematic due to basketball and other sports being, quote, purely the labor of people. So Draymond jumps in. It's like, hey, man, that sounds like you're right. Draymond says, very rarely do we take the time to rethink something and say, maybe that's not the way. Green said, just because someone was taught that 100 years ago doesn't make that the right thing today. And so when you look at the word owner, it does date back to slavery. We took the words and continue to put it to use. So, the NBA comes out because it's a players league now. And they responded by saying, we refer to the owners and our teams as governors of the board for each team. So, but the term owner dates back to the 13th century, 12th century, man. This word's been around forever. It's just not a slavery term. My thing is, do you not own your car? Do you not own your house? Do you own your pet?
I am the governor of my car, son.
Look, people own businesses, and the people that work in the business they own, they don't come around being like, where are my slaves today? They still own the business. They are owners of the business. I mean, that's just what they are, dude. I mean, for you to be so sensitive.
Yeah, that's like the softest shit I've ever heard. What? So like, there's no such thing as possession anymore. Like, what is somebody gonna come like grab my phone out of my hand and be like, "You don't own this. You're not my owner." Like, that's pretty. I understand where his logic and his ideology is coming from. Yeah, no, and you can't whitewash him.
Down. You know what your owner is doing? Cutting your ass a check for over $10+ million each year. So let's simmer down. Like, this ain't like ownership like back then. It's like, you know what you got? Like a slab of bacon fat and a dirt floor. You know, that's completely different, man. You are being made a made man based on your athletic abilities. And, you know, kudos to you, man. Not everybody was able to get that opportunity in life.
Okay. And my thing too is like, what does it stop, dude? Owner this, owner that. But like, I saw a video of Will Smith today, who is part owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's like, yeah, right, I'm owner. I mean, like, dude, if you were owning a team, would you not just be like,
yes, I would say I'm an owner, and behind the backs of my players, I would call them my slaves. Like, you know, like, I don't care. Because first off, I would be paying them so much money that, I mean, who cares what I'm called? I know what they're doing for me. I know what, you know, I'm doing for them. You know, I mean, you're telling me that some kid who was playing a sport, a child's game, is now going to start being paid more than somebody who's literally like worked their whole life to be a doctor to save lives? You're making so much more than them. I mean, the only doctors that are making close to the equivalent are like plastic surgeons who are adding plastic all over your body. They're not saving lives. They're making you more, you know, ridiculous looking, or I guess better looking, depending on what's going on with you.
Right. And the other thing too is that's just not respect. Like, what about is he saying that in terms of just white owners? Because like you said, Will Smith has part ownership.
Of course, this is just
Michael Jordan.
White. Oh, this is just against white owners. You know it is, dude.
And I don't necessarily care. You know what I mean? But like, also, like, a lot of those people worked their effing balls off to be able to own a sports team. Yeah, some of them were handed it, you know, like Jeannie Buss, but a lot of these guys are like self-made, you know, or got a small loan of $1 million from daddy and had to make it work.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how they acquired this money or what they've done to do it. They are the owner of the team, and they should be given that label. Not everybody immediately associates owner with slave. Now, if they were called masters, you know, my master, you know, then we have some real problems. You know, it was like, oh, we, you know, got to go over to massa and get our check for $1 million. You know, like, no, that's not okay. But it's just like, yeah, because massa and owner, two different things. You know, because you can own a lot of things, but you only a massa to a slave. So
I never linked owner to slavery. You see what I'm saying? Like boss man, you know, some kind of like that.
Maybe it's because I'm not black, but that's never ever crossed my mind. You know?
I mean, look, dude, I can see the correlation because, yes, it is like that you own slaves. So you were an owner of slaves, but no one ever called them really owners, you know? So like the phrase own slaves was definitely used a lot, but no one really called them the owners. They would call them, you know, the massa, or, you know, the plantation owner. And like, now you could go that route, but that was always plantation owner. It wasn't just owner. It was they owned a plantation which inhabited slaves. It's a very specific form of owner. No one else is called that kind of specific owner but them. You know, like only the plantation owners are labeled as plantation owners. If you just say owner, you assume that they're not owning something in which they are working slaves to the bone. You know,
right.
Like,
I mean, I'd make more of a case for NCAA schools. I mean, they're basically masters, no?
Yeah, I would say that NCAA is running a slavery plantation style.
Different. It's a whole different ball game, and maybe that's why they don't use the term owner in colleges, because somebody's got to own the school, right? Whether it's the state or a private enterprise, whatever it is.
Yeah, those are plantation owners. Is the NCAA.
Dude, I'll make the argument. Maybe back in the day before free agency, when the players had their choice on where they went and played, like Dick LeBeau had to play for the Lions for 40 years because that was before free agency. Yeah, okay, then maybe.
No.
But now you're like free to go. And come,
let's not even hit maybe on that. Back then, that was slavery. That was ownership.
Okay,
they were not allowed to leave. They were not allowed to do anything, and they were getting paid whatever they said they were going to pay them, or they're like, well, then what? You know, I mean, we're talking about athletes that should have been getting paid so much more, especially in a time period in which the revenue was coming in like crazy. And they were still like, nah, you don't need this money, as they were making hand over fist billions probably.
But Draymond Green, though, he has a choice to play basketball. He has a choice to not play. He has a choice to retire tomorrow. He also has a choice in not kicking people in the nuts.
Okay. He has not handled anybody's genitals in a full season now.
A full season. That's why I know Draymond from. The first time I saw him was him kicking that poor man from Oklahoma City Thunder. Adams of the nuts. And then he cup checked LeBron James. Like, and the greatest thing LeBron did was step over him like a punk. So
that's a very
that was awesome. But
thing to do to someone.
It is. I'm sorry, but and he called it a basketball move. So I just never got that. And Draymond, here's the deal. This is LeBron's influence, and this is getting out of control. LeBron, you are not. I was talking to you about this with a guy at work. He is the biggest diva in all this American sports ever. He acts like he's the victim, and he is the one of the greatest basketball players ever. And nobody ever harps on him. Nobody ever really criticizes him. And then he tries to just run everything. Like the other day, he took a picture. He took a picture with a coach finally with his Goodfellas hoodie on and saying, hey, I accept this, man. It's like messaging, dude. LeBron, we know you run everything, man. But come on, man. This is over the line, dude. Because I know LeBron James and Draymond Green will be calling themselves owners of the team if they own a team.
Well, all right. I mean, probably so. But, again, dude, we don't know. They sure can't say it now because they've made this big old stink. But, again, dude, the words plantation owner had a lot of strength behind it because it was literally two different, like, no one ever said just owner. It's always plantation owner, like, or slave owner or something. Like, it wasn't just owner. Like, so now for you to say the word owner is inappropriate, it's like, well, look, they own the team. They literally do own the team. You play for this.
They bought the fucking thing, or they made the fucking thing.
I mean, there are owners of movie companies and movie studios. Is everybody who works under them, all the actors, all the other people, are they slaves? I mean, they're still getting paid good money, and I don't see any of them crying and being like, I can't believe someone owns this movie studio. Like, like no one's getting mad there. It's just,
I mean, you can make the argument that like all of society is under a plantation now because we all work for the 1%, which I would listen to, but that's not the argument here, right?
It really isn't. It's just like, I mean, if we label it something else, you still know what it is. You still know what we're trying to hint at.
If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, odds are it's probably a fucking duck.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
Well, anyways, back to LeBron real quick. I wanted to talk about all these stupid memes I've been seeing today about LeBron talking to Steph saying, oh, now you know what it's like. No, he doesn't. Steph Curry.
Steph's a good guy.
That's fine. That's great. His wife's going off the deep end. But for everyone to say that Steph Curry now knows what LeBron feels like in the finals having to carry a team is bullshit. Because it's bullshit. LeBron, when they played them a few years ago, literally had to carry that entire team. He scored 50.
That one block is the reason why they won.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, let's not downplay Kyrie Irving and all that he did to help out. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had one B player and then had to go against 4 All-Stars, and 2 of them were the second and third best players on the planet.
Well, I mean, now at the time, there was no Kevin Durant. You also had Draymond Green getting suspended for, his antics around people's genitals. So, you're looking at a team that was not the exact same team that we're looking at now. I mean, like, your extra pieces were, what was it, Jaya Pachulia, whatever his name is. So, like, that's not something strong to work with, again, it was a different squad. I mean, he had a younger Bogut, and even still, he was moving about the same as he is now. I mean,
Right.
like, again, the pieces looked familiar, but they were different. And again, like, without a KD, without, I guess Draymond for a little bit of it, it wasn't the same powerhouse that you're looking at now, Plus they were younger. They weren't as put together, they were a little unpolished. So I could see how a team like that could fall apart. But, like, if you expected a veteran Golden State Warrior team to fall apart against LeBron James, like, no, that's not happening. Because, I mean, this was that was their second attempt at a championship. So they were still new to it, I think if they had, like, this attempt later on with the same circumstances, I don't think it would have been the same problem.
Man, I'm just pumped if Toronto wins. Like, I just think it'll be such a cool story for Kawhi Leonard and, honestly, that entire city, because they haven't won anything in God knows how long.
Yeah, well, they haven't won anything in a little while, probably since the Blue Jays.
Well, yeah, but they haven't won a Stanley Cup since they had like nine teams.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the most recent championships were the Blue Jays, so they at least had, the 90s is when I think they had two of them. Was it 90? I think it was 91, 92, I thought were the years they were. But we can look that up because that's what the internet's for. But either way, it's been since the early 90s since the Blue Jays or at least Toronto have hoisted up a championship trophy of any kind. And
right, so it would be neat. And, like, the whole Drake aspect, too, I know he's annoying, but it does bring a whole nother aspect to the game that we're not used to.
Oh, you mean old Aubrey?
Oh, yeah. Do you think you can wear a Kevin Durant Knicks jersey next game?
Well, I mean, dude, who knows what he's going to be? Maybe he'll make a Durant Knicks.
That would be awesome, man.
I mean, that's good trolling. I mean, he's been pretty good at it. I mean, he had, Curry's daddy's jersey on game one. I was like, at first I was like, what? How did he get that jersey? And then I was like, man, dude, I think Dell might have ended his career in Toronto. And it was right, dude, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, Dell was playing before the Raptors existed. But then I was like, but maybe he ended there. It was exactly right. I was like, oh, God, that's ultimate trolling right there.
It is awesome. And then he's telling Draymond Green that he's trash at the end of a game. Like, I love that shit. Like, I don't know. In hockey, we talk shit. Like, the whole game, we are talking shit constantly. It's just chirp, chirp, chirping. And so that type of stuff, like, I enjoy that type of stuff, like, because we don't see it enough. And I didn't grow up in that era of basketball where people are just throwing haymakers, you know what I mean?
Well, again, you don't see that in Canada either because, like, Canada's all nice and proper and whatnot. And, the fact that they paid someone to be a troll that, goes down and sees what they do in America and is bringing it back up to Canada, that kind of behavior. Because, I mean, dude, for the whole Home Alone situation, like, where's Kevin? I mean, that's ridiculous, dude.
That's so great.
I mean, the man is off his rocker right now, and it's great, dude. Like, I can't wait for Game 5 back in Toronto just to see, again, what antics he'll have. And, man, I'm hoping this goes to 7 just so I can see more Drake and, have more media attention on that than the actual game, because I think that's really helping the Raptors. Like, no one's interviewing them afterwards except for Kawhi Leonard. They're like, Kawhi, and Drake. And then, like, the rest of the team gets to go back to the locker room and not do anything.
I mean, it's been a fun series to watch, especially because the Raptors were not the team we thought we were going to be in this finals. It was either going to be, the Celtics for one. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, we thought either that or at least the Bucks, if nothing less. But, we were not expecting the Raptors.
Toronto probably would have been my fifth pick. It would have been, for me, it would have been fourth, but it would have been Celts, Bucks, and then Sixers and Toronto, and the Sixers blew it. Obviously, they're Ben Simmons can't shoot.
You know what? I might have put Toronto above the Sixers just because I know how that team likes to implode.
Well, yeah, you probably know a little more about basketball than I do.
Yeah, but they would have definitely been like the third team I would have expected to come out of the East. It definitely was not the team at all I really thought would do it. So either way, man, I mean, they got there, and a lot of it has to do with, some of these B and C role players like stepping up and playing like A players. I mean, Green in the last game, dude, hit 6 threes. He only took threes and hit 6 of them, man. Like, I mean, when you're getting that out of a guy who might get you 2 or 3 points normally,
right?
That's a whole lot more than 2 or 3 points. You now nearly gave me 20. And then you have like people like Van Vliet who just had a baby, so now he's got new papa strength. And he's just throwing up circus balls, and they're going in. So, I mean, like, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good because, I mean, some of this stuff is insane that's falling in. So, whatever, dude. They're getting it done, and maybe Canada will finally have themselves a ring, but there's still rumor that Kevin might be back for Game 5. They said he won't be back for Game 4, but he could be back for Game 5.
I think he's going to sit it out.
He probably will. But if he comes back for Game 5, I mean, this is a new series, but they kind of have to win Game 4 without him because if it's 3-1, I still don't think Kevin Durant at, like, partial strength is good enough to just completely wipe them out. So if he can pull out 4, he can muster through to get them to 7 and get it done. But they got to get 4.
I agree.
Toronto, though, man. Toronto's got Game 7 at home.
Isn't that crazy? Never would have thought that.
I would say that it is Toronto to win. I think the Golden State Warriors are done.
I'm not putting them out until they're at least down 3-1, and I know for a fact Kevin Durant still won't be showing. Like if it's 3-1 and they're like Kevin Durant still is not showing up, they're done.
I would have to say that the Golden State Warriors is the biggest bandwagon team in the history of all sports because I just don't know. I see these people on TV. And I was like, where were you guys when it was Chris Mullins out there?
I mean, let's be honest. These fans have been around for a little while, dude. They've won like multiple championships. So for it to be like solely bandwagon is a little late to the scene, dude.
Not solely bandwagon. I'm just saying like 90%.
No, I mean, even still, dude, like they've been around for a few years at this point. I think you're allowed to now be a fan if this is now – how many championships in a row we're looking at. They're trying to three-peat. They've been to it for like 5 straight years.
Oh, they're a dynasty. I'm not taking that away. I'm just saying, where were you before the struggling years? That's all.
Maybe they didn't even exist yet. I mean, goodness, dude, 5 years ago, you're looking at people who are in their like early 20s that could be fans now. Shoot, they were 15. They probably didn't care anything about basketball. They were concerned about the pimple on their face. So
easy to support.
Well, of course it's easy to support a winner. We can talk to the Moose about that all damn day. I mean, his whole life is supporting winners. It's like, oh, poor me living in the Northeast with all my championships.
I've got 100 days without championship.
It's been so long since my last parade. What kind of comment is that? You know what? I bet if he said that in front of his daddy, he wouldn't be upset. He would be very upset. If the Moose went up to his father and he was like, I haven't been in a parade in days, he'd probably give him the back of his hand.
My dad loves when I talk trash like that, though, man. He lives for it. Anyways, sticking on the topic of basketball, Jonathan, I want to ask you straight up, where's Kyrie going?
Oh, well, I mean, what's going on right now is interesting now that he's got a penthouse in I guess, New York, and he also got a place over in Jersey. Based on the 2 locations he's chosen, it looks like he's going to be going up to the New York area. Now, the question is which team? I'm thinking it's the Nets, but everybody's trying to be like, well, what are you going to do with D'Angelo Russell? The same stupid thing they're doing down in Houston. You just have basically 2 point guards running your offense. Like, I mean, what are you talking about, dude? Like, you're not going to say no to Kyrie if he's going to join your team, and you're not going to just get rid of D'Angelo Russell, the only all-star you've had in years. So you'll be perfectly fine.
I agree. I think he's going to Brooklyn, man. And I think it's weird But I think he just wants to be closer to home. I think that's just the bottom line is he wants to play near his home and closer to his home. And also, I don't think he can hack it up here in Boston. I mean, we showed it all year when the
Oh my God.
yeah, really, when the critics talk, he didn't want to talk, but when he was playing on top of his game, he was all words, wasn't he? But no, he couldn't take criticism. And to survive in Boston, you need to be able to take criticism.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I don't think he could take the criticism on a topic he couldn't really speak like openly about. Because
like how he went like 3 for 40 on fucking threes in the playoffs. Like you can't.
No, not that, because there was an unrest within a team, and you can't, while being on a team, talk about how your team is effed up. You know, like you can't say that to the media. Like even if you're on a team that is like the Phoenix Suns, your team is losing literally every week. There's still going to be reporters asking you things, and you can't literally sit there and say, well, if the rest of my team didn't suck balls, we'd be winning.
But he basically did say that all year long.
But you can't like say it. You know, you just kind of have to like go through,
beat around the bush about it.
Right.
And some people don't say anything at all, which is the formula he should have followed while he was here. Also, it was stupid for him, and I don't really hold it against him, but he shouldn't have promised to come back last year. That was stupid of him. Like that's a learning experience for him. But like, just
you can't make promises.
Everything he says is pompous, and he thinks he's smarter than everyone because he has this idea about life and how he should be, like mentally and emotionally.
He's a world's flat kind of guy.
Oh, it's terrible, dude. Listening to him talk is like listening to nails on a chalkboard being driven in a truck by a baby that just keeps screaming. That's what it's like listening to him talk. It's like, I don't care. I hope he leaves Boston. I'll take Scary Terry in his lame ass all day playing point guard, even though we're not going to get nearly as many wins. I don't have that much invested in the Boston Celtics, to be honest, but I don't care. He can leave. He can take his problems to Brooklyn. They have enough as it is, so it's not like he's going to be added much.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be fine. I mean, they'll just continue to win some games. They'll maybe make 3rd, 4th seed. But, I mean, they'll get bumped early. It'll be the same old story. But at least, you know, it'll be entertaining for the fans in Brooklyn.
Isn't this what we do every year, man? Like, always talk about next year, where somebody's going to end up. Where's Lillard going to end up? Where's LeBron going to end up, man? This was getting so tired about the NBA. Where's Durant going to be next year?
Well, because there's actual change. Why can't we just because there's change in the NBA. You don't make extreme changes like that in the NFL because they just drop you off usually. Like, you know, you get straight up cut.
Right, and I'll add on to that is that the changes in the NFL, unless it's a quarterback or an Odell figure, they're not as significant as a top A player on your team leaving. Like for basketball, there's only 5 choices on that starting lineup. And if one of them is a top, 10 guy, then people are definitely going to talk about him. It's just
if he's just a top 3 guy on the team. They're going to talk about it.
And like, if he goes to a team where he'll be a top 2 or top 3 guy, they're going to talk about it. And when you have only 5 choices, usually it means, it's going to be pretty significant. So that's all I'd say about that. Otherwise, football moves I love. I freaking love when people leave teams and go other places, man.
But also, too, I think it shows down how watered down the NBA really is, man. It's like, I think that's why I lost interest all those years ago, because just now it's like 3 teams, 4 teams, then these guys move again, there's the new team. There's no real – that's why I give it up for Golden State trying to keep it together like a team with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all those guys sticking together for a dynasty, which is awesome because they're actually like a real team. LeBron hates it because they figured out how to beat a super team before the Lakers. He's all just butthurt about that.
Super team bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, he started it, and I mean, unfortunately, the first go around it lost to the Dallas Mavericks, but then afterwards it worked out pretty well. But the idea of the super team was his idea, but the problem was, he was creating a super team for short-term gain. You know, like if he kept that team together for longer, I mean, they would have been more of a dynasty than they turned out to be. Like, I mean, people will remember that time at the Miami Heat, but like it wasn't like truly just like a full-on powerhouse because everybody kind of knew it was going to be like a quick thing. You know, it was just kind of assumed that something was going to happen and this wasn't going to stay the way it was because you can't have two superstars on the same team. So he went back to Cleveland, did his thing there, and then they were like, yo, let's make something real strong over in Golden State. And then when Kevin Durant was available, they're like, yo, we can make this stupid strong.
Hell
so,
yeah.
you know, so now, like this team that was already good enough to compete is now even better. And just they did it right, dude. You know, they're doing it kind of Patriot style where it's like, you know, no one is going in there talking about big money. Like they're getting paid good money, but no one's talking like they need the good money.
But too bad Steph, dude. I think it's going to become more important than LeBron James when it's all said and done. But Steph has actually changed the game, doing everything. LeBron just kind of disappeared like an old man on the front porch screaming.
What was it, 9 straight championships? What are you talking
about? Why? Why do you think he did that? Because he played in the East, dude. He played in the East. He played in the West, dude. He would have been like, I'm just saying, oh, it was easy, dude. Look at this.
What are you talking about? Have you ever seen his teammates' statistics?
Yeah, he's still
and also, too, I'm just saying, pick a team, man, from the West. That's why he stayed there, dude. It's because, let's see how weak the East is. Let's see how Cleveland guaranteed to get to the finals every time.
All right, but in fairness, the East wasn't always a give me. Like, the East wasn't always as bad as it became. Well, yeah, recently it became bad because when he made the super team in Miami, people got pissed off, and then they started going over to the West because they thought the West was weak. But then the Golden State Warriors made something over there, and then people, they didn't want to play against that super team that they created. They were like, "This is bull."
It's all because the NBA has no competition no more, man. You got like 5 good players. That's about it. That's why I like the Bucks this year. Small teams coming along, man. I mean, like I said, I just haven't been the biggest fan of basketball.
Who hurt you, dude? Was it AI? Was it AI that hurt?
Him, like Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Allen were like they were the last straw for me, to be honest. And then the Mavericks won, and then after that, you're right, Duke. It turned to shit.
How about like Allen Iverson taking that garbage 76ers team all the way to the finals, man? That was beautiful. You know, I think that was really the last time I actually cared, just because I like Allen Iverson so much. Good guy, but. Yeah, you're right. Matt, the only reason now I watched because I just want to watch LeBron lose.
I mean, dude, and it was sad, dude. He was falling apart left and right, and he looked bewildered and lost. And now he has no excuse because he didn't step up and chime in saying he didn't want Frank Vogel because he's trying to claim now that he doesn't want to have the, I guess, rumor or the truth being told that he has to run every team he's on. So now he's acting like he doesn't want to have anything to do with the choice of coaches because, you know, he doesn't want to look like he's got too much power. Yet he'll just start, you know, showing insubordination if he doesn't like it, and then they'll have to fire Frank Vogel.
Well, and another man that announced his retirement the other day, I got to give a note to Vince Carter. He announced his retirement the other day. Next year will be his last year, y'all. The amazing Vince Carter.
Yeah, right.
Hey, but still, it's been over like, what, 20 years now he's played in the league? I mean, I remember the Slam Dunk Championship back in the day. Amazing, man. I mean, I just had to see, like.
We had half the arm down there?
Dude, yeah, dude. Like, it was.
That was my first NBA jersey because when I was a kid, like way young, I was a Toronto Raptors fan. I can't pull that now because I stopped caring about basketball for so long. But when I was a kid, I loved Vince Carter, and he's the only basketball jersey I've ever owned. I've never gotten a Celtics jersey, like nothing like that.
Probably got a ring with the Mavericks, was it?
I think so. I think it was the Mavericks. I think he was on there. Maybe, or actually, you know what? I don't know, dude. He might have been on the.
Was that
he
Jason
might have been on
Kidd?
the Mavericks after that. because he moved around quite a bit. I don't know if he has a ring yet. He might be ringless, dude.
That's sad, dude. He'll be in the Hall of Fame for
just
sure.
Probably just for longevity at this point in time. Plus, he is on the all-time scoring list. I think he's somewhere around 15 or something on the all-time scoring list. So, I mean, he's at least up there. And if he plays at least one more year, he's going to be, moving up at least. So he'll have Hall of Fame numbers by the time it comes around to voting him in.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, hey, Moose, how old 24. Are you again? 24. So when the Moose was Vince Carter played for 22 years. So when the Moose was about 2 to 3 years old.
Right. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine having that type of commitment? Like, I've never done anything for more than 5 years.
Hey, 22 years, man. Amazing, dude. Like, for a man to play a sport that awesome. Intense and that hard for that long is amazing. I mean, like, football is amazing too, but I'm just saying, like, basketball, you're wear and tear on your knees, hitting that pavement, jumping up and down over and over and over again. I just cannot imagine just getting up and walking the next day playing that type of game, especially at his age. Goodness. Great man.
Yeah. Vince does not have a chip, and it doesn't look like he's chasing rings either because, his last few teams being the Sacramento Kings, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Mavericks well after Dirk had hit his prime. I think he's just going around getting paid. That's fine. Man.
Good for him, man. I mean, at least he's not doing the Karl Malone. What was it? Karl Malone back in the Lakers.
Oh yeah, well they made that was like the first attempt on a super team, but they did it like when everybody was past their prime, and so it was like a super old team.
Yeah. Gary Payton, Karl Malone playing for the Lakers back in the day. That was hideous.
You said hideous.
That was hideous, man. This is sometimes like you just retire. Just let it go. I'm sorry, but just retire, let it go, man. Time to move on. But speaking of moving on, man, I guess it's time for our break.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. It's time for your Fumble Rooski Weekly Sports News Update. Liverpool FC has won the Champions League for the first time since 2004. Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, and Naby Keita are now the first players from their respected African countries to win the Champions League. Minority owner of the Golden State Warriors, Mark Stevens, has been banned from the NBA for one season, fined $500,000, chump change, for his altercation with Toronto's Kyle Lowry in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Toronto now leads the series 2-1. It was announced Wednesday that the Raiders will host the Green Bay Packers preseason Week 3 exhibition game in Winnipeg, Manitoba on Thursday, August 22nd. People around the country are now signing petitions for Canada to keep those teams once they're there. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals is tonight. The series is tied 2-2 after a St. Louis win the other night. Bruins captain Zdeno Chara will be playing with a broken jaw. Even after today, we learned that he couldn't answer questions at the press conference because he can't open his mouth. Ladies and gents, hockey is a different ballgame. I'm excited, man. I don't know if you guys have been watching like every minute. It's been crazy.
I mean, I've been paying attention. I wouldn't say the closest of attention, but I've been watching the games happening, and I'm excited to see the Blues keeping things exciting. They finally achieved more than 2 goals during regulation, which was all they were basically getting. And I'm like, look, you can't win against Boston with only 2 goals. I mean, they're guaranteed to at least have 3, maybe, if you know. So, like, you better get more than 2. And they finally did here in Game 4. They actually looked a little better. I was happy to see them bounce back after they got demolished.
Right, 7-2, man. Yeah. I was like, what the? No, this can't happen. I hate the Bruins.
It was ugly. Like, it was real ugly. Like, I mean, they were out of the game before the game kind of felt like it started. I mean, 3 goals in the first period, and then, like, you know, they had to pull out the goalie, and he bounced back. Next game, looked much better.
I'd argue some because, dude, he's got some issues. I mean, he's only 22 or 23 years old, but those rebounds, if he lets them out, if he lets the same rebounds out tonight, I'm telling you right now, Boston will be back in it. I think
true. Plus, there were penalty issues too. I mean, they were very penalized in that game, and so when you're shorthanded a lot, it doesn't make things easier for you or your goalie. So.
Right, especially when Boston has like between 1 and 3 of the best power plays this year. They're lucky their first line hasn't been showing up, man. I mean, St. Louis wouldn't even be in it if Bergeron and Marchand and Pasternak were laying down Genos, but we'll see. I think whoever takes this game tonight wins the series. That's just my opinion. I had the Bruins in 7 originally, and that's mostly so I didn't get beat up around here, but I'm hoping for the Blues to pull out a win tonight. I'd love to see the Bruins lose. I fucking hate them. So it's sure been an exciting series. The referees are a focal point, and I don't like that. There's one thing in hockey, and it's you don't blame losses on referees regardless ever. You just don't do it. It's like blaming the goalie for letting in too many goals. I mean, 7-2, that's a little different. The kid let in 5 G. That kid's going to be riding some pine and picking some splinters out of his ass. But other than that, I mean, it's been a great series, in my opinion, because I'm a hockey fan. I'm a little biased, but there's nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, go Blues. Hope they get their ass, the Bruins get their ass handed to them tonight. I'd love to see that. The only reason I'd want them to win is because Nola Chari's from Rhode Island, and he's a local boy, and he's a fourth-line grinder. But other than that, I could care less. Now, I believe we had some news. I'll move on. I know we're not a hockey show here.
Hey, look, but, I mean, I'm sure you were surprised at the little knowledge that I had. Like, I told you I've been keeping up.
You know what? It was a great take, Jonathan, and it's not that I'm surprised because you're black. That's not why. Just
hey,
you know what?
PK Subban's out there. This black man playing hockey. Okay, it's not.
Yes, there's a handful of us out there. We're doing what we can.
Don't put words in my mouth, motherfucker. That's not how this is gonna work. All right, that's not what I'm saying. No, but it's been great, man. I love hockey. It's my first love. Now, what I don't love is getting beat up. And Duke, I believe you have some news for us. There was a big boxing match this weekend between Ruiz and Joshua. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, paint a nice picture for us. Tell us the bodies of each man.
Yeah, can you describe
the
build?
So we're gonna go the mainstream route, huh?
Yes,
okay, so Joshua, yes, he is British. He is cut like a Greek god. Ruiz is 270, so he's kind of got like a little stomach. I'm about the same size as he is. I think I'm about like 10 to 12 pounds more, but I mean, he's just a stout guy. He's just a short little stout guy, dude. And so Ruiz was brought in with this match because the other dude who was originally there failed a drug test, which, I mean, I can't understand that. So Ruiz was 32.
Did you say I can understand that?
I mean, shit happens. Probably steroids or something.
I think what you mean too is that Anthony Joshua is an absolute machine, and he has been since.
Has he? That's the thing.
Well, he's been doing well. He's been boxing well, and he looks the part. I mean, he looks like he's been taken straight out of a Rocky film and put in real life. Like, you're not supposed to have that kind of muscle definition in the ring.
Yes, but
unless you're Ivan Drago.
Ruiz was brought in, and a lot of people would. Ruiz was brought in, dude, and he was his amateur record, I believe, is 105 wins and like 10 losses. His professional record was 32-1, where he lost a close decision in a title match. So Ruiz was qualified. The thing is, I was watching this live because I got DAZN, which I encourage anybody to pay the $10 a month to get premium boxing. Alvarez is exclusively with DAZN. Triple G's fighting this weekend against a young Canadian. So I'm hoping the Canadian comes up. You don't like. Well, I hope he does. So, well, that's just that's just you, Moose. So Ruiz is a qualified boxer. He was trained to be a boxer from a very long line of probably Mexican boxers. The Mexican boxing style is like Oscar De La Hoya, where they're going to go up there, they're going to take hits, but they're going to get up there, like not this Mayweather style of, hey, I'm going to duck, jab, and not get hit all the time.
Hey, look, whatever gets you the victories, man.
Whatever, hey, but that's the thing, though. It's kind of, I never like
fighting.
I never liked Mayweather style. I like the old Mexican style, just going in there. Ruiz, he was trained. I mean, he had a weakness of when he would step up twice, he left himself open, but Joshua can never connect with the reach.
He also had a weakness for Twinkies and ho-hos, man. I mean,
hey, damn. I mean, but so
he didn't look the part is basically what
But hey, you can look the part, but I would also argue that linemen in the NFL don't look the part, but they can still outrun probably both of our asses.
No, I'm not saying that they probably can't.
So, but Ruiz he's a trained boxer. If anybody watches his footwork, he knows what he's doing. The man, and everybody was crapping on him like he didn't. Joshua has just never seen a style like that before. In fact, I don't think Joshua's ever been hit like that before. He was knocked down 4 different times. After the 4th time, the referee looked at him. Joshua made the mistake of looking away and not making contact at first with the ref. And then the ref said, no, you're done. I just don't think Joshua ever recovered after the first knockdown because you just take him back.
He was gassed, man. He was gassed. As soon as he got clipped on the chin, he was gassed.
And that's the conditioning. Ruiz had better conditioning too. And so Ruiz, referee called him, man, 7 rounds. It was awesome. Probably one of the best matches all year. I loved it. Boxing I think this is really good for boxing because it's bringing back more focus to the sport. Now you got Wilder, Joshua, Ruiz. We're getting some heavyweight boxers.
Well, I mean, Wilder had a knockout in 13 seconds the other night or something like that. I mean, like not even a month ago. So no, I agree. Boxing is almost a dead sport. And it's unfortunate because when you grow up around here, definitely there's a deep history of boxing in Rhode Island and the Boston area. I mean, you played a sport or you didn't make it out, and boxing and fighting is one of those sports. So it's highly, yeah, exactly. It's highly.
And I feel like it's coming back around because I feel like the UFC is kind of falling off. Like it's.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Because Conor left.
I mean, yeah, I think that's probably why. I mean,
I give him credit for making, UFC what it was in the last 8 years. But if he comes back now, it's not even going to matter because if he loses, nobody's going to be that mad about it. Like he already lost to Nurmagomedov and he's lost to Floyd. So his last 2 fights, were losses. But no, I mean, I implore what he said about Ruiz was really cool. Mexicans know how to fight. A lot of thought it was a racist tweet, but it's
a style of boxing. People make it sound racist, but it's not. Mexican style of boxing is different. Oscar De La Hoya, all those guys. Like if you watch them, they're a lot different than what George Foreman would fight or Ali would fight. They just get in there, they rub chins, headbutt each other, and just get in there with those close ass punches. And Joshua just never seen that. And I look forward to the rematch because now he's going to be a lot more prepared for it.
Right. He has to be, dude. I mean, the way it looked, if you're an outsider and you're just a fair weather Twitter sports fan, that loss is embarrassing. You lost to a dude that's got ounces of, pounds of fat on him. Joshua barely has a couple of ounces of fat on him. So, yeah, it's a bad look for him. It's a good look for boxing because it got people talking again.
But what I'm saying is, I mean, embarrassing. The man has an amateur record of 105 wins.
I understand.
The kid's been boxing. Ruiz been boxing since he was like 10 years old. Joshua picked up the sport at, I think, 18 when he went to go to the Olympics and started boxing that way. So, I mean, Ruiz, you want to say he was born in the ring when Wilder and all these other guys just picked it up. That's the Mexican. Boxing has a deep history of the minorities, of like before it was like the poor black ghetto kids coming out. I forget what his name is, but the guy that learned how to box in prison and came out. He just retired recently.
Bernard.
Yeah, he actually was like the California State Penitentiary title holder and was fucking a badass. So I mean, like you had George Foreman, you had Ali, and then now it's like the Mexican boxers have picked up the tradition and they're keeping the sport alive, and I'm excited about that because I love boxing. I'm not the biggest fan of UFC. I respect it. It's cool, but there's just something about two grown-ass men going out there until one of them fucking falls down. There's no tapping out until the rest.
We grew up on Rocky movies, dude. So that's why.
Yeah, I mean, we watched Lennox Lewis back in the day. We watched Mike Tyson. Would you watch all these?
Mike Tyson had sort of that Floyd Mayweather look, where, I mean, he was trained by Cuz, so it was all head work. It was all, if you don't touch my head, I'm not going to go down. So it was a lot different. So in that regard, he wasn't Mexican style either. But you do have to. Yeah, you get in and you get touched, you get hit, but you can. Yeah, see, it's sort of like Rocky. It's not, how many times you go down, but how many times you get back up. And, lucky for him, he didn't go down. He put the guy down, but it's a good win for him.
He's got knocked down initially.
Yeah, he got knocked down, but he took it. Yeah.
I didn't even know he got knocked down.
It was kind of funny because he gets knocked down. He's just kind of laughing at it like, really? Let's go. He was like, okay.
Yeah, he got knocked down and was like, well, I guess the fight's begun.
I didn't even know that. Well, it probably lit a fire under his ass. Who knows? But I mean, from what I saw the fight, I didn't watch the whole fight.
That was awesome, man. You missed.
It looked like a great match, man. And you know what? Good for the chubby dude, because it just, if you put that work in, it doesn't matter what you look like as long as you get the job.
But I mean, to me, kills me with all these other people who like Stephen A. Smith and these guys that I think Stephen A. Smith lost a lot of money on that fight. That's why he was pissed. Like, I think he was like, "Oh man, I'm taking Joshua. Man, this is a guaranteed pay."
Yeah, you can stop talking about how mad he was about it, and it doesn't make sense because you made the bet.
And then also too, Shannon Sharp said some crap. I was like, "Really, Shannon? Why don't you get in the ring with him and then say that crap to him?" I mean, that man could hit. He'll hit the shit out of you. It was a great fight. The man's classically trained. I love boxing, the footwork. It was awesome to see him just do that. He was pushing Joshua around the ring. I never seen nobody do that to Joshua.
Yeah, and the other thing too is the shots.
Boom, boom.
Right, and the shots he was putting on, from what I saw, they didn't look overly powerful, but they just looked quick, and it looked like one shot in, one shot out, one shot in, one shot out. And then Joshua wasn't expecting that third or fourth strike in the next 5 seconds, and it looked like it just wore him down mentally. And maybe he wasn't ready for the fight, but that's no excuse to lose.
Yeah, but no,
that highly regarded.
But I mean, he wasn't. I think he was overlooking this fight to Wilder. I think he was looking to a Wembley Stadium with Wilder, and that was going to be the match. This was supposed to be kind of a warm-up match, and he got beat. So that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get paid the rematch, because now he's got his title in the contract as an automatic rematch, which, you're stupid not to do that. So, I mean, us too, with the Rocky matches, man, I mean, they would have called those matches. Rocky took too many hits to the head. He should have been boxing. Yeah. Like, he just keeps his hands down. Like, dude, like, come on, put your hands up, Rocky.
Yeah, at least attempt to block your face, act like you're trying to preserve yourself in some sort of way. But yes, folks, that was the world of boxing. We've hit hockey, we've hit boxing, but you know why we call ourselves the Ricky Williams Trilogy? Our love of football. As a matter of fact, one thing I love right now is that Le'Veon Bell is in a bit of an altercation with his girlfriends. Man got robbed. He got robbed, man. His girlfriend straight up robbed him. Now, in the report given to the police, girlfriends were not exactly sure what their relationship was with Le'Veon Bell, if they were sleeping with the man or if they were just friends that were girls. I don't know what it was, but...
Whoa. Time out. So the report I read last night was that $520,000 of jewelry has been stolen,
Correct.
So my question to you is, they know who did it?
Well, they know it's these ladies. They know these. Know these ladies. Yeah, they know for sure these women were the culprits. Now we don't know what the relationship these ladies had with Le'Veon if he didn't, pay them adequately for services rendered. I don't know if that were the case, but either way, he left these ladies alone in his home, and he got robbed. And that's the long and short of the story. I don't feel too bad for him because, I'm sure this kind of stuff happens to people in the NFL and in different sports. You might let
$500,000 though. What are you doing with $500,000 in a house that you're not even living in?
Well, I mean, it's jewelry. One was a Black Panther pendant necklace, and I'm sure that went for at least a cool $250,000 alone. It was made of diamonds.
Black Panther.
I don't ever want to hear somebody telling me not to use another plastic straw the rest of my fucking life, okay? These people are taking private planes, flying all over the world. You got blood diamonds, $500,000 worth of blood diamonds in your house. I don't want to hear another word about it. Don't.
Hey. Those blood diamonds didn't kill a turtle, all right?
Kill the turtle.
You're right. They killed African children, Jonathan. Anyways,
my bad.
I do have some semi-breaking news. Adam Schefter tweeted as of 17 minutes ago that the Eagles and Carson Wentz have agreed to terms on a 4-year contract extension through 2024.
Wow.
Undeserved.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's all we have to say. That's all we have to say, boys.
I mean, look, that's not smart at all. But you know what? It's going to have to happen because I guess if Carson Wentz comes in there and starts acting like a whiny little gardening tool, you're going to have to give him the money that he wants. Otherwise, he won't show up and be like, I won't play.
Well, when you a hoe, you just a hoe, Jonathan. That's just it.
I mean, that's what Carson is. I mean, you come in there demanding money, you haven't won a damn thing.
Damn thing.
I haven't seen anything about what the money is like.
It don't even matter. What are you extending? The fact that he's going to get hurt every year?
I mean, he knows if he's not making top, he's making probably at least what, 20 mil a year.
I mean, he's making more than he should for what his accomplishments truly are. It's ridiculous. But
listen, I don't blame him for being loved though, or being revered. Like I don't blame, because he's a pretty quiet guy. It hasn't seemed like he has much to say. He's not an Aaron Rodgers type. He doesn't seem arrogant, but I understand that like they're throwing all of their hope, all of their franchise's hope in this dude. And so in that regard, I understand it. But otherwise, like, I'm not going to blame Carson Wentz for the fact that his city loves him for no reason.
No. Philly's doing it. Philly is starved for stars, I guess. Good, household white names. And they're going with Carson Wentz and Bryce Harper. They're going to pay these players out the butt regardless because you know what? It's a good, safe, white choice, and that's what you got to do sometimes.
And McNabb gets criticized for saying that Carson Wentz just show up or put up, and now they're paying it. See,
because he does.
That's the thing, man. Like everybody's bashing on my boy down south, but boy, everybody loves Carson Wentz, man. But what, sitting on the bench while your backup quarterback wins the Super Bowl? I mean, I understand people get hurt, but then it's like, well, nobody says he's not injury prone. He hasn't been able to finish the season either. But
I wouldn't be too upset with it if he didn't come back the very next season and also get hurt again and have to be led through the playoffs by the backup.
It's such a joke, man. Honestly, I totally agree about the whole Donovan McNabb thing. That between him and Mike Vick, probably some of the best quarterbacks they've had in the last 25, 30 years.
Well, they loved Jaws forever. Jaworski.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say ever. But
I mean, they loved him. They would support that boy for forever. They still think he's the greatest quarterback ever.
I know we already took what we thought would be our division winners. I think we all picked the Cowboys this year, didn't we?
No, we didn't even talk about division winners yet, man.
I think we have. No, we definitely have. I'm going to go ahead and listen back.
I mean, we might have had a very, very early pick. I think I vaguely remember it, but
it was before the draft. It was before free agency even fucking started. It was like a week after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we all guessed who would win.
Yeah, we did some very early picks. I vaguely remember it. I mean, I'm sure you said something about the Titans and we talked trash to you, but
Right, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I have the Colts winning your division this year. I think.
Why? Because Andrew Luck.
Yes.
Whatever, man. We're beating his ass, man.
I hope so.
I'm tired. Look, Andrew Luck is just overrated. It's like JJ Watt. I hate these teams when they're like, JJ is so good. Like, I'm just tired of it, man. It's just like, and you know what? It's one thing that irks me is just that Colt fans, like, y'all act like you're the Patriots. Y'all haven't done nothing.
All right. Well, they got at least one chip on you. But
What?
anyway.
You mean they hung that banner after Deflategate that said second place in the AFC?
No, there was that one time they actually won a Super Bowl. But anyway, that's not important right now. You still don't have the one yet, my friend.
I'm just saying, man. With Peyton,
you don't have the one.
with Peyton, with Rex Grossman, I remember that Super Bowl. That was awful Super Bowl. Rex Grossman couldn't do crap. That defense was stout for the Chicago Bears. They should have won that if they had a decent quarterback like Trent Dilfer.
Hey, good Lord. Okay, Sexy Rexy did what he could. But let's talk about other quarterbacks that may or may not do anything in their career. We've got good old Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's making some history this week by calling out one of his players who's holding out for a little bit of money, Duke Johnson. Now, Duke Johnson's holding out probably because he's scared. There's too many cooks in the kitchen or whatever, and I think they're going to ruin the broth because let's be honest, there's a lot of running backs up in Cleveland right now, and he doesn't see him making the starting lineup when there's Kareem Hunt, when there's Chubbs, and I think that's it, right? Or do they still have Hyde? Is Hyde still on the squad?
They still Hyde.
All right. Well, again, he doesn't feel like he has a very good chance. What do you guys?
I think he's going to the Bucs.
He's getting traded. I think. He's demanding it. Freddie Kitchens says he's not, but that's just too much of a distraction right now.
For Freddie, yeah, they definitely.
Also, do you guys believe in Freddie Kitchens? I'm just asking you straight up.
I don't know yet. I mean, I want to, dude, with the team that he has around the offensive prowess.
Hold on. Word on the street is Carlos Hyde is playing for the Chiefs. I thought that was right. When you guys were saying that, I was like, I thought he was on the Chiefs now. He is on the Chiefs now. But anyway, continue.
I'm bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. It was Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kareem Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was right. I was right with Kareem Hunt and Chubbs and dude. Because when you said Hyde, I was like, I don't think he's there anymore.
No, he's not. In our apologies to everyone, boys, we've been distressed. We have been displaced. There has not been football in months. We're all a little messy right now. So
withdrawals. The withdrawals are real, people.
It's okay. I fact checked this.
That's fine. But my thing is, Kareem Hunt is suspended. Right? How many games?
6 games.
6 games.
I thought it was more than that, but either way. No, I think it's 8 games.
Yeah,
but here's the thing is that Duke Johnson is the number 2 right now. And if you're backing up a second-year sophomore player like Nick Chubb, why would you not want that job? You have a chance to rip it from underneath somebody. You can literally take that carpet and you can rip it out from underneath Nick Chubb. Now, do I think he's going to? Absolutely not. I would never think that. But when you look around the league,
he doesn't think he can either. Right. So that's why he's wanting more money.
Right. And it is what it is. But I'd be remiss if I don't think Bruce Arians is going after him right now.
Well, I just love that there's so much dysfunction right now in the Browns. I mean, you've got a quarterback talking trash about a running back's money. You've got a coach coming out talking about a wide receiver needs to show up to voluntary stuff. If you want it to be mandatory, make it mandatory.
True.
Don't tell some guy he needs to come to Cleveland, Ohio. He might not want to be in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, homie used to live in New York. He went to Cleveland and was like, oh, my God, I don't want to be here.
The only reason anybody right now wants to move to Cleveland is because they want to play for the Browns. It's just it's very much a surprise to me that Duke Johnson would put up this much of a fight. for something that he has a chance to obtain. I mean, if you're in a situation right now where you could really make a difference, this team would be it. I mean, you have all of the wide receiver prowess. You got David Njoku on tight end, and you can make a difference every game. I mean, you got Nick Chubb ahead of you, who guaranteed played fantastic last year, and he shows a ton of promise, but so does Duke. I mean, he can make it happen in Cleveland, and it doesn't take much. You know, a couple of 3-4 yarders here and there through the game. I mean, you can make a difference, and you can make more money next year. Like, I just don't understand. I think he's trying to make a name for himself, and honestly, it's just pretty ugly.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, look, it's an agent telling him to strike while the iron's hot, because right now the Browns are hot, and they're only going to be as hot as
are they hot?
Are
they just hot on paper?
Well, yes, they're hot because they're talking about them on everything. They're talking about them on everything. When were they talking about the Browns before? Never, except for to make fun of them for losing again. But like, that was it. They were the laughing stock. They weren't treated with any kind of respect. Then immediately they turn around and get respect for winning a few games and being interesting.
They win 7 games and everybody claims that they're going to go to Super Bowl. It's like, sorry.
It just became interesting out of the blue. Like, if your team goes 9-7 over and over and over again, they don't become interesting. Do they become the same old mediocre nonsense? You know, like your team has to start doing something for them to start caring, and they are starting to care because they think there's a possibility of them doing something, because going from not winning a damn game to winning 7 and tying 1 is quite a turnaround. You know, I mean, you just got to look at the numbers. It's much better than before.
I'm just, you know, as again, say 9-7, but 3 consecutive winning seasons. I'm just saying, Browns, have a winning season before you start talking about Super Bowl and playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Because you know what? At the end of the day, football is a hard game. And we've seen some great teams with great talent that has not put it together. And Freddie Kitchens is a first-year coach already blaming the media for the problems that are being caused. It's like maybe Duke Johnson just sees something in the locker room, man.
No, I think that's a good call on his part, though, because you don't want to start blaming players your first year coach,
you don't blame players. You just don't even address it. But to blame the media, that's weak, man.
Yeah, but that's a common threshold nowadays. That's
just do the Belichick thing and don't even address it.
Man, he's doing the Trump thing. You got to blame the media.
Yeah, and nobody's gonna be doing the Belichick thing anymore. And we've had that conversation. It's just
not, man. It's great. Vrabel does it. Say I ain't talking that question. Sorry, moving on. He's a little bit.
He doesn't do it like Belichick does.
No, because Belichick's the master of it, and Popovich.
Master, like a slave master.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't use that.
Oh man, see now we going full circle, dude. That's terrible.
You're welcome. Anyways, I'm just stirring the pot here.
My bad. I can't use words like that no more. I'm sorry.
I want to go back to Duke Johnson real quick. I mean, the guy had not even 500 yards last season. He's never gotten over 700 yards in a season, and granted, in 2017 he had twice the amount of touches that he did in 2018. But that's what happens when your team drafts a running back. And then last year, literally, I think last year to this date, if not a few days off, he agreed to basically a $16 million 3-year deal, $5 million signing bonus. And he got that signing bonus, and now he wants out. That's the bottom line. He's threatened. He's threatened by Chubb, threatened by Kareem Hunt, and by the end of this year, he'll be out of a job. And that's unfortunate, and that's probably why he wants to get traded. To demand it during training camp or mini camp, like, you're stepping off the field from practice and you're demanding it? Are you kidding me?
But I think if he wants out, he has to get that money back. Be like, here you go. Here's your $5 million back. Just trade me. I want out. But you ain't gonna keep that money, man. That's wrong. Just give it back and just get out of Cleveland if you want it. I'm all about players wanting to go play where they want to play. So I'll give him more power. Baker calling him out. This shows to me that Baker still doesn't understand this is a business at the end of the day.
I think he understands that he's the business.
No, I'm sorry, but no, it's not your business, Baker, because come 3-4 years when they're crapping on you and you're going to be all butthurt when they try to trade your butt for the next first round pick.
Goodness, man, how far our mascot has fallen, dude.
I'm just saying.
Praise he used to get.
I used to hate him now. That's our boy.
No, man. After that, the first time that what he did to his former coach was funny. Ha ha, you got him. The second time was because you upset he took a job with the Cincinnati Bengals because he had to feed his family. Yeah, Baker. I'm sorry, but get over yourself, dude. You're the greatest ever.
Who's got to feed their family?
What was his coach's name? Hugh Jackson. When he took the job with the Bengals as a special assistant.
Yeah, exactly. I'd give the guy shit too. Whatever.
Why?
He's a young quarterback.
Why? Why would you give? Because it's just a business, dude. Your butt could be
not on the field. That's a game. It's not a business at that point.
Dude, he did it once. You show him up once, you win, Baker. That's great. That's awesome. You do it twice, you're the a-hole.
Okay, when he's
another time, he's going to do a third time. He's going to do a fourth time. Hey, Baker, how many years has it been since Hugh Jackson's left? Well, I'm still bitter about – dude, let it go.
No, he should. He shouldn't say anything about it, but I love the fact that he does things on the field.
Yeah, but still, it's like, dude, let it go. I'm sorry. It's immature because you got to realize that it's a day of business, dude.
He'll get it.
No, he won't. He's one of these little pompous boys. I don't think he will, dude. I think his ego thinks he's better than everybody, dude. So he's just going to say that I'm the best. And then when the Browns say that he's going to struggle for a couple years, which he will, all quarterbacks do struggle. I'm sorry. That's the truth. But sophomore slump, when they got enough tape on you for a year and those grown-ass men are paid to stop you, then they are. And we're going to see how you react to that. Are you going to get frustrated? Are you going to start blaming people? Is OBJ going to be the problem? Is Jarvis Landry going to be the problem? Is your defense, your head coach going to be a problem? I mean, you won 7 games last year, and you act like you got to the playoffs, Baker. You act like you won the AFC championship.
I mean, they won 1 game in 2 years, bud.
Yeah,
I mean,
congratulations. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. But I'm just saying, like, don't put the cart before the horse, dude.
Would you say the same for the Titans?
What? How?
Well,
you're
supposed to do.
Yeah,
went from 2 to 3 win seasons, and now you're just doing.
Now we're going. Yeah, we're building something here. So the Browns, to me, need to win have a couple of winning playoffs, get that feeling of winning. Then yeah. I mean, it's just
I can't argue with that because it's
just like don't put the cart before the horse because man, you're gonna be disappointed. It's still you got a great team on paper, but at the end of the day, it's hard to put that. This ain't Madden, y'all. I just can't throw OBJ, Tom Brady, and Antonio Brown on the same team and dominate Jonathan like he used to dominate me in Madden. You know, it's like
ridiculous. What are you even talking about? Yeah, I feel like my name is being slandered.
Oh no, you still beat me.
When I made super teams.
Yeah, because you're the best, actually, the football player on video games I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. Like I told him,
told me he was switching coverage and shit.
He was doing stuff that I didn't even know you could do. He didn't like. I was like, he calls a play, changes the play 3 times before I figure it out, and then moves people. It was sick. But thing is, just like Baker, dude, calm down. Just concentrate on OTAs. Grow up a little bit. It's a business. If Duke doesn't want to be there, hey, but don't act like you're the winning train because Tom Brady talked to you the other day on Twitter.
Right. Well, talk less, do more, and that's what Brady's been doing his whole career. I mean,
that's it, man.
But Brady was an arrogant son of a bitch too. When he came to Rhode Island for training camp at Bryan University in my hometown of Smithfield, Rhode Island, he literally went to a bar right next to Bryan, and he made people like he went up to the manager and made people move. Like that's who he was. But yeah, right next to the video game thing, he was like, "Get the fuck out of it." And
was he the starting quarterback at this time or not?
I think he had just won a Super Bowl. Yeah, so nobody said anything about it. But also,
he was in a Super Bowl though.
But he was an arrogant bitch.
Exactly.
But he was also. He was 23 years old. I mean, Baker's at that age now where he needs to realize that the less you say, the better, and the more you do, the better. That's just it. I mean, you got the only time you have to speak that really means anything is on the field with your arm and with your playing ability and with your reading of the defense. Like, that's it. That's all you need to do, and the rest will follow. Tom Brady's proven it. I mean,
You
and
have
Aaron Rodgers continues to go down the wrong path of keeping talking, because this week he said some nonsense about everyone chugging beers. And, you know, he said something along the lines of, oh, now they have something, they're more talented than me. And, like, that's some pompous shit that nobody in America wants to hear. We don't want to hear rich, snobby people being rich and snobby. That's not what we want. We want rich, snobby heroes that don't say a lot. You know what I mean?
You just knew Aaron Rodgers is snobby. I mean, you know he can't chug a beer, but he can chug a wine spritzer. You know he can't.
Right? He's like, give me a scotch and I'll drink. Like you don't chug scotch, you pompous rich fuck.
And he probably can't.
You guys take it like
probably can't chug that either.
But tell me that was not like a 1%er thing that he did there. Like, oh, give me scotch. It might be a change of pace. Scotch. If you drink scotch, you definitely drive a Range Rover and you're a douchebag. Like, I just don't want to hear it.
What? Scotch is pretty good, though, dude.
I mean, I do enjoy a good scotch, man, but I'm not sure.
But I don't flaunt drinking scotch because
you can say this. You could say the same about those craft brewers.
I can't afford to sip scotch. If I'm sipping something, it's beer and it's to get drunk. I don't make millions of dollars a year. Like scotch, great scotch, like really good scotch, aged well in great oak barrels, they cost a good amount of money. Like I can't buy scotch. I can't do that. So I'm not going to arrogantly talk about me chugging. Like it's just ridiculous. I mean, you guys have to be, you have to agree with that. Like, this is not an option. Like if you talk about drinking scotch after the fact that you can't chug a beer, you're probably a douche.
You're making fun of the Duke's aristocratic family, and he won't stand for it. You know,
he doesn't like his family. He doesn't even talk to his family. He didn't even care about his family when they were in California getting burnt alive by the goddamn devastating forest fires out there. No.
Let's be honest, Jonathan, were those forest fires that devastating for the rich people?
I mean, they weren't that bad.
I mean, they are if you're losing fucking pets.
They were, but they weren't like. I mean, they were bad, but like, I mean, people were evacuated well beforehand. It's just they lost property. You know?
Wait, but like, time out. I'm not even saying rich or not. Like, people still lost things they care about, boys. Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, there was loss.
But this was at Katrina, where like all those poor people were just like, you know what I mean, or even with the natural floods or the tornadoes that hit the Midwest every year. I'm just saying that California burns every single year. Jonathan knows this. And they were
it's kind of sad but true. I mean,
they evacuated all those rich people on the rich hill in a time when they got insurance. So I'm sure they got the precious.
They better. I sure hope they do.
Yeah.
Be fool if they didn't.
So I'm just saying, like, that fire thing was just overblown. But yes, Aaron Rodgers.
Yo, I flew over those fires. They weren't fucking overblown. I was on my way to Mexico.
They're still bad.
Anything I saw was smoke and orange glow, dude. No,
it happens.
Also, what about the fucking animals, you fuckers? What about all the millions of animals that got displaced, dishomed, and killed?
No. It was rough for, like, especially the ranches that had horses and stuff like that.
There's a lot of wine country out there. Like, there's a lot of work and honest.
Oh, I mean, there's not a lot of animals on the vineyard, dude. I don't know if you don't have really a good excuse for animal life.
Jonathan, do you know anything about honeybees? Do you know anything? Okay.
That's not a wine vineyard. That's completely different.
But
nitpicking. You guys are nitpicking.
We're not nitpicking. We're just saying that we used to California burning.
I don't wish death upon poor or rich people.
I don't wish me either. I'm just saying, like, you know, again, the state's always on fire.
I'm just saying, it sounds like you're pretty aware of the rich people burning problem, and you don't care that much.
I mean, hey,
when I become a rich person, I'll care about my property burning.
I care about it.
Oh, I love these talks.
Because you got to that point, my friend.
I don't sound like a 34 of the week, but we should probably get to that anyway.
Yes.
My testimonies definitely take me out of the running, and I don't think either of the other two fellows here are in the running either. But let's get to the Duke here with our 34 man or woman of the week.
Yes. Let's see here. Let's see. Get my notes out, people. Because it was a couple.
Oh, I didn't know if you weren't ready. I mean, I tried to give a proper.
Those two. Yes, I found it. All right.
Okay.
First one goes to AJ Green, Cincinnati Bengals. We haven't heard much from him lately because, poor Bengals. He needs to be traded. Let go.
Just because he got hurt? Dang, man.
I know. He needs, but.
You ain't doing that to Mariota, but continue.
No, but I'm saying, though, how long has was it Andy Dalton?
Yeah.
Man, yeah. How long has he been up there for?
As long as he needs to be, man. The Bengals haven't had much better.
Too long. Well, AJ, man, he did a good thing this week. With the tornadoes that hit Dayton, Ohio, he went out to volunteer for relief. Green was at the Corinthians Baptist Church helping, handing out supplies to the residents who were hit by the storms and tornadoes. I think it's awesome for him to do that, for him just showing up and saying a kind word to the survivors really helped the morale because, like I said, hey, sports is a thing that makes people happy, and if you see your favorite player there handing out supplies, you shake his hands, that can make anybody's day and so good on AJ. Von Miller, of course, Von Miller, he's always doing charity work. He will receive the 2019 Jefferson Award for Outstanding Public Service in Sports. DeMarcus Ware will be handing out the award for him. And I believe DeMarcus Ware is a huge Habitat for Humanity type of guy. He builds homes. Actually, I believe DeMarcus Ware helped build a Habitat Humanity home for Deshaun Watson's family. So he helped Deshaun Watson get out of it, which is awesome because now Deshaun Watson is playing for the Texans. And hopefully this year he can stay in one piece without those punctured lungs that the Texans put him through.
Right.
And my third good guy goes to Anthony Joshua. Immediately after the fight, losing to Ruiz, he walked up to Ruiz and said, "You beat me." And then when the camera was on him, he said, "Give this guy the credit. He beat me. Let's go have another rematch." All credit to him. Joshua apologized to his fans. He apologized to everybody for not being ready. Good on him for that sportsmanship. Reminds me of what they do in hockey, where they make you line up at the end of the game no matter what, and you shake hands. Because at the end of the day, that's good sportsmanship. I wish we saw more of it.
Hey, dude, Mike Tyson was very sportsmanlike, except for the time when he bit dude's ear. But other than that, dude, he would always go and help the guy up,
yeah,
see if they were okay after he just crushed their skull.
Oh yeah, I felt bad about. Yeah, I would feel bad about that.
He wanted to kill every man he fought.
He did, but he knew that man was in there just trying to get a paycheck, just like himself. So he knew what he was doing was, hateful in every way because you're trying to, drum a man silly. But at the same time, he was like, this man never really did anything to me. We were both put in this ring, and I did what I had to do. Yeah.
And then, of course, our puppy dog of the weeks, we talked about him earlier. Mark Stevens, owner, you're banned for a year, you dumbass.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. I don't want to call it. They said it was white privilege in an article. That was clickbait. I think it's just more of entitlement that you're that rich. I mean, you don't do that to nobody. I think he was upset that they're losing like a baby, and that's why he did it. It's like, shut up, we're losing. We already have.
When's the last time you ever heard of an altercation with a minority or a majority owner on the sidelines? Like, that's just never. He was looking for a moment to shine, and that was it.
And also, too, Stephen A. Smith for just acting like Louise was just a bum, and Shannon Sharp, too. I have a feeling that I feel like Stephen A. lost quite a bit of money on that boxing match. I think that's why he was upset because, as we know, sports betting, sometimes people like to drop $1,000 to make $100. I think he dropped probably quite a bit and lost quite a bit.
I mean, I hope not. Stephen A. Smith is making a couple of commas each year, and if he's gambling foolish, then shame on him.
Well, it was a short bet though, dude. The guy was like, I mean, he hasn't had those types of odds.
He was again chiseled out of granite. Yes, I know how you described him, but he still is a man.
But I mean, it like I said, it was just like Buster Douglas and Tyson. Tyson was overlooking that match to go to Holyfield.
Well, yeah, dude, he was having rompous sex in Japan with probably many women with unprotected, willy. Can I say that? Can I say that on the? Will HR be upset if I say unprotected willy?
No,
I'm pretty sure they're allowed to say, bitch and whore on the radio. So I think you can say Willie on our podcast.
Well, YouTube though, so YouTube's getting strict about things.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Well, we haven't talked about guns yet tonight, but boys, I know, soft subject. I know for everyone that's never handled a gun. I just wanted to give an honorable mention. Today is the 75th anniversary of D-Day. I know a lot has changed in the social climate of our time, but those men that fought on that day, a lot of them were 16 to 22 years old. A lot of them gave their lives. And regardless of your social and political stature in today's world, which I completely respect in either regard, I think that a special mention and, we should remember those guys and women that served in World War II on D-Day. There was it was just a different war, man. It was not like the wars we fight today. And I just wanted to give a shout out to, all those guys that gave their lives on this day 75 years ago, well before we were born. It's a reason we're able to have discussions that we have today about things in the social media world and the social light that, are very touching to all of us. But, today, the long snapper for the Patriots, Joe Cardona, graduate of the Naval Academy, was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. I think that's really cool. He's still playing football and he's still, participating in the Navy.
How does that work? I thought, because what was it? David Johnson was the Navy, and he actually had to go do his service. He graduated in the Naval Academy. He had to go do his service for like 2 to 3 years before. Did the long snapper have to do that?
Yeah. No, he's continued his service in every single year that he's been with the Patriots. He's just never been.
Yeah, but I just don't understand how that works. That's all I'm asking.
I don't either. Because
there's
plenty of guys in the NFL and every sports league that have participated in some form of the military, but I don't know exactly how it works.
Is he reserves?
No.
Okay, so he's blatant like Navy then. I don't know.
I mean, he graduated from the Naval Academy. He's probably commissioned officer, so he probably doesn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, but David Robinson was the admiral, right, Jonathan?
This is true.
I mean, he actually did. I think he had to go do 3 years of service before he actually was able to enter the draft. So maybe they changed the rules on that. I don't know, but good for him.
You never know, man. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Good for them being promoted to lieutenant. So
no, but I think it was really cool because obviously Belichick's father coached for 33 years at the Naval Academy. He also went to the Naval Academy. So no, it's a cool moment. And on the 75th anniversary of the greatest day in American history, arguably, it's a pretty cool moment. But I think that just about wraps us up.
Well, I thought we missed a puppy dog. Did we not mention LaFleur?
Oh, LaFleur, yes. Let me tell you about LaFleur. So this guy, Matt LaFleur, is living off of the Sean McVay tails. What's it called?
Riding the coattails.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's been a long day at my government job. So he was riding the coattails. He was playing basketball, tore up his Achilles. So now the Green Bay Packers head coach is going to be on crutches, or as the Moose says, the little cart with one leg. So,
hey, I mean, I think he'll probably do all his play calling from the booth. I have a feeling he's going to stay up there and not actually be on the sidelines, because all he needs is to get hit on those sidelines while on some crutches trying to tend to his Achilles. I don't think that's going to help anything. So I think he's going to be up in the booth
because we know who the real coach of the Green Bay Packers is. Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he's definitely going to be coaching the offense anyway.
Yeah. So, Matt LaFleur, good luck. No hard feelings. I just wish you stayed with the Titans longer than 1 year. But you got to take those opportunities when they present themselves, because you may not get another one. So,
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, it's a business, so good for you. I'm like Arthur Smith this year, but I'm having football withdrawals, and I'm ready for July to be here for training camp. OTAs just wrapped up, so they'll take a couple more weeks off, go to training camp in July. Then August, we start some preseason games, people. Then September. But we got our nationals. We got our most important birthday coming up on July 4th. So Jonathan's getting old.
I am.
Oh, I thought you meant America.
Yeah. Well,
I was about to say, yeah, boys, it's a big year for us.
It's a big year for America. It's a big year for America.
But it's a big year for we're celebrating John B. Easy's because really, America.
We still have weeks before that. But let's wrap up this wonderful episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Again, you can follow us on all forms of social media, be it Instagram, Twitter, or on Facebook. Facebook, of course, you can find us on Fumble Rooski Sports as well as the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Also, you can check us out on YouTube, everybody. You can check out episodes of the Ricky Williams Trilogy right there. Also, you can just check out the Ricky Williams Trilogy on the website. I mean, let's just be honest with you. Do whatever you need to do to find us. I guess the website, though, will be fumblerooskisports.com, and then it'll lead you to the Ricky Williams Trilogy, which can also lead you to other things like Money Mouth, the sports betting podcast. Folks, again, this is another episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy with your fellas, the Moose, the Duke, and Be Easy. Gentlemen, what do you have to say before we leave?
Just go Titans, and football can come soon enough.
Go Blues. Fuck the Bruins.
Oh, and well, go Chiefs, and I don't care if the Blues win, but that's fine if they do.
Yeah, let's go Blues. Yeah. Damn it.
Let's go Blues. Let's go say Lou. Woo!
Woo!
All right, the Blues.